So I would take dairy products out. They're high in fat. I would take eggs out, high in fat. And dairy and eggs feed bugs. So if you're somebody dealing with a symptom or a condition, you want that out. You want gluten out, of course. But see, somebody out there in the audience might say, oh, well, wait a minute. There's a lot of guys that know about gluten. So medical medium's not saying anything interesting. Actually, no. I'm the only guy that said gluten feeds pathogens. And the pathogens are making people sick, not the gluten. Mm-hmm. And nobody knew gluten fed bugs. They didn't know that. And that's how it works. So you want to get gluten out. And, for instance, celiac. Gluten isn't what creates a celiac condition or a problem with celiac. It's the bugs that no one knows about that are creating your inflammation in your celiac, and those bugs are feeding off of gluten, you see? That simple truth right there can get someone to really heal. I mean, this is amazing when you have the answers. And it's not good, like I said, I'm not special, I'm not a smart guy. It's only because the information comes. But the bottom line is, like the celery juice is great. That's a great way to heal. You got your heavy metal detox, but these are just a couple of tools, and you really need to read, cleanse to heal. But taking out the dairy products, taking out the eggs, taking out the gluten for sure, and then lowering the fats as well. And you have to know with the celery juice kills pathogens. So it's killing bugs. It's an herbal medicine that's killing bugs, restoring your hydrochloric acid. You know what happens to a lot of guys? They get the acid reflux, right? You hear, they get the acid reflux. They get the bloat. I mean, there's guys working out in the gym and they're bloated. You know what I mean? I mean, even if they don't have a lot of fat around their waist, they're bloated, and a lot of guys aren't there yet. They're not bloated, but it doesn't mean they won't be when they're 40 or 50. Yeah. But a lot of guys get bloated, and because their bile weakens inside their liver weakens, their bile weakens, their hydrochloric acid weakens inside their stomach, their HCl, their glands burn out inside their stomach, and celery juice brings that back, brings your liver back. It brings your bile reserves back in your liver. It brings your HCl back in your stomach. It's helpful for killing bugs that create diverticulitis. It helps by killing bugs that create colitis. But science research doesn't know bugs create colitis. But if you read the medical medium books, you'll learn what bugs create colitis, what bugs create diverticulitis, what bugs create these conditions. And that celery juice is knocking those bugs out. That's how men heal when they're using celery juice. That's just one thing right there. But lowering your fats, and hey, look, if you're on a keto diet, you already know you're on the high-fat diet. And I'm not trying to throw anybody off their game if they love their keto diet, but it's good whether you're vegan keto, plant-based keto, animal protein keto. It's good to lower the fats. That's why I'm not about all plant-based. You know what I mean? This isn't about trying to get your animal protein guys onto plant-based, and that's it. I want everybody to know that in the audience. It has nothing to do with that. And I'm not trying to get the plant-based crowd on the animal protein. I'm trying to say you guys just need to lower the fats so you can get more mineral salts from celery juice. So you can get more nutrients, more antivirals from your foods. Bring your fats down so you can get the metals out. You can't get metals out. You can't stop your dementia down the road if your fats are through the roof, if your diet is so high in the fats and the oils. If you're putting too much almond butter and too much peanut butter in your smoothies, and you're doing too much soy, and you're doing eggs, and you're doing too much animal meat, and you're doing all this fat, and what's happening is you're thickening up your blood, you're weakening your liver, and then your metals are staying in the brain and they're just starting to oxidize and all of that. And so when you bring these fattier foods down and you lower them down, you're able to get rid of metals. You're able to use tools like celery juice and you're able to use the heavy metal detox smoothies and other things, other tools like in the medical medium, arena. And you can drop down those bugs and drop down those metals, get the liver working, get your blood a little thinner, don't have a heart attack, keep your prostate working and functioning for years to come. Like just making sure you get you really do the anti-aging, not just, really do the anti-aging. So, yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, man. Seriously. And, man, there's so much information here, man. I could really just go on and on. But I do want to sort of get a couple more questions, and then we'll kind of take it from there. What are some of the biggest like supplements that you recommend? I know there's a whole directory of them, but what are some of like the big ones? B12, zinc, and some of the other like.
Everybody's B12 deficient. Even if you get a blood test and it says you're not, everybody's B12 deficient, because it doesn't mean your liver's methylating. It doesn't mean your liver is actually converting it. When everyone, plant-based, vegan, vegetarian, animal protein, keto, paleo, whatever you call it, all of it, everybody's B12 deficient. And that's just across the board. Even if you have your B12 levels are high, that doesn't mean they're actually absorbing into the nervous system. That doesn't mean your liver's converting them. And that's the problem. You need like the Vimergy B12. I mean, if there's one supplement to recommend, it's the Vimergy. You go to Vimergy.com. V as in Victor, I, M as in Mary, ERGY. You get two supplements that are incredible for men are B12 and zinc. B12 is critical for men. Critical for stress levels, everything. That's a big deal. Keeping them strong, making sure muscles function and work. And the B12 that I recommend with the Vimergy is the adenosylcobalamin with methylcobalamin, that blend. It's incredible for men, but it's the right kind. There's no preservatives, all that kind of stuff in it. And then the zinc, that's for the prostate. Critical. So, that keeps the prostate healthy. It keeps the immune system strong. And it has to be the liquid zinc sulfate. And the whole thing with the Vimergy liquid zinc sulfate, that's a game changer. These two things alone, just if people want if they want to lead, it's Vimergy.com, the B12, and their zinc is incredible. I like their curcumin. That's a great one too, because their curcumin is actually the real deal. There's nothing like it out there. It's great for men. It's incredible for the vascular system, incredible for their heart, all of it. But and especially when when you pull out muscles and you injure yourself, or your back is, or either you're inflamed. I mean, the men that are out there that are inflamed, it's unbelievable. They're just walking around all inflamed in places all over their body. Organs are inflamed and their joints are inflamed and everything. And the curcumin's really good. But these are just a few things that are great.
Mm-hmm. As far as inflammation too, I know because I used to be huge on fish oil too, but you don't recommend fish oil. You recommend a different omega. Which one's that?
I mean, look, the fish oils are really a bomb, a total bomb. That's a scam all in itself, and I use that. I don't use that word lightly. I'm not out there saying this, whatever, a scam, whatever, but it really is, because the mercury in fish oil is legit. You can't get mercury out of fish oil. I don't care what centrifuge you got. I don't care what technology you got. You can't remove it all, because mercury leaves a message behind it, leaves an imprint behind. It's impossible to remove mercury out of fish oil, because when you try to remove it out of fish oil, you leave it homeopathically behind. And it's even worse than if you ate a can of tuna. I'd rather people, the mercury in tuna fish, I'd rather you eat a can of tuna every day than take your fish oil capsules that say they're mercury free. What a scam that whole thing is. When you use technology to remove mercury out of fish oil, you leave behind a more potent form of mercury, a methyl mercury, a homeopathic mercury. You'd rather have it the hardcore straight up mercury that you get out of a tuna can that you eat, and believe it or not, that's safer than the fish oil supplements. So I like the plant-based DHA, EPA.
All right, so I know you talk about a lot of meditations and say like the Medical Medium book, there's a lot of different things in there, and you talk about angels and things like that. You get into a lot of cool topics, which I really enjoy, but I haven't heard you really talk about meditation in a way of, say, tapping into a higher state of consciousness and almost like the law of attraction thing where you're changing your reality and you feel those emotions, you feel those feelings, and then you can almost change like what's happening in real life. And a lot of people are doing that kind of stuff, and it's really an interesting topic to me, and I just kind of want to get your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not sick in bed with lupus, you can have the luxury to play around in meditation land. Meditation never got someone fixed of their horrible lupus and their suffering. Meditation never got rid of somebody's multiple sclerosis. Meditation never got rid of somebody's eczema and psoriasis that's raging. They can be They literally could be meditating all they want, and they got raging eczema and they can't. I mean, they're just in agony. Meditation's a Band-Aid. I love. It's supportive. It's healthy. I believe in it. I have meditations in a couple of my books, but I'm also about like reality, and the reality that why can the guy who's just a miserable SOB, who's 85 years old, terrible to his siblings, terrible to his neighbors, thinks the worst thoughts, hateful guy, miserable, not sick with any symptoms, doesn't need to meditate his whole life. He's 85 years old. He's happy, sits in front of his television, gets out his TV meal, his TV dinner, and he's just a miserable dude. And did he have to meditate or not in his whole life? Whatever, I don't know. But the point is how can somebody else, right, be just like meditating and thinking positive thoughts and just trying really hard in all aspect of that, doing breath work, and they're like 25 years old and they're just on Mattress Island and they're sucking it out bad, and they're just they got raging eczema and psoriasis. They're on their 20th doctor appointment. They're getting steroid shots, and they're the best person. They're not miserable. They're positive. They're a cheerleader for their family members, and for their siblings, and they're a loving person, but they're practically bedridden with the worst skin condition, or some other kind of problem that they have, or a neurological problem, or they're dealing with high anxiety, just brutal anxiety that meditation that doesn't fix. I mean, no meditation can be a Band-Aid to help certain varieties of anxiety, but not all of them. And it's like, and they're really suffering, you know what I mean? And they got the floaters in the eyes, and they got the brain fog, and they can't even meditate. They got debilitating brain fog. And I'm all about the real stuff. I'm not saying meditation's not real. I'm not saying positive thought isn't real. I'm just saying I'm about the hardcore crap. I'm about rising out of the ashes, about real answers, about getting somebody better. Because here's what happened. Before medical medium information came along, everybody tried all that. You think that's new, the positive thought and meditation and breath work? And it's not new. I mean, people poured into my office. I talked to 250,000 individuals one-on-one over 35 years, and they would go to retreats, and they would sit on top of mountaintops if they could afford them, and they would meditate. They would, get every sense of positive thought, affirmation, everything they want, but others suffering. They got the worst thyroid conditions and thyroid tumors, and they're, they got neurological symptoms, and their knees are going, and and they got brain fog, fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome, and skin disorders and diseases. And I love meditation. It's just one of the supportive pieces out there. It's not an answer. It's not an answer. Your meditation can't get rid of debilitating long life of eczema, psoriasis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis. The list goes on. It goes on and on. CFS. And I wish meditation can fix somebody's CFS and get them out of bed. I wish meditation can reverse somebody's eczema. It just hasn't. I think meditation's a healing tool for us emotionally, and that helps, when we're going through hard times, and I love it. And I think it's great for depression, and it's great for all kinds of things. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just a beautiful thing. And there's a lot of different people out there that offer different meditations. There's a lot of people that use all the old style meditations. They mix it with their own vibe. They mix it with their own thing and all that. But the meditation and breath work and all that, what it does is you're using it as a Band-Aid to work with something else that's happening that's deeper, something else going on. For instance, like our emotional patterns that keep on happening are because we have something physically happening inside our body that meditation can't fix. And for instance, like